Okay, right now. Okay, so what we're going to do, since you guys want to be able to reference this later, we're just going to start recording here, and we're going to upload this to YouTube. Just straight up raw as it is. So let's not play music so I don't get demonetized from that crap, and I'll just throw in some music later if I can be fucked. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a proper endgame build for what I'm going to aim for in ArcheAge Unchained with my staff spellsinger setup, okay? So we're going to go with Hiram, staff. We're not going to talk about any tier 5 future crap. This is just what's available to us right now for endgame specifics, okay? So we're looking at a plus 20, which is pretty easy to get temper-wise. Eternal, Hiram, staff. Full gem with tier 3 crafted gems, and we're rolling intelligence, defense pen, and crit damage on the staff. Now, yes, currently I have int, crit rate, crit damage, but I have 5 rolls, and my intent is to, once I get to the point where my crit rate is getting 90% plus, I can re-roll that crit rate roll into defense penetration, where it's going to give me more value. So we'll talk about that as we do the thing. You guys are saying hi YouTube. I don't have you won't be able to see this chat unless do you really want me to pull a chat thing up on screen? I could do that. How do I do that? Let's do that. We'll learn here together. Twitch. I go to my dashboard. I'm pretty sure I can just pull out the chat, right? They updated this. I don't know if I can how to do this anymore. Pop out. Here we go. This is the only way I know how to do the chat. Is like this. I don't know where this is going to go. This is not going to fit anywhere on the actual screen. Can I make this, like, smaller? There, baby chat. But then it's just going to do this. It's just going to get covered. Unless I do a new, like, source for browser capture. This, maybe? Add source? No. Cancel. We're working this out. Okay, hold on. If this next try doesn't work, then we're just going to continue. I need window capture. This. Add source. No, we want to add a new source. We'll call this chat. Add source. And oh, whoa. We want this. Is this the chat? No, what's the chat thing called? It's create a dashboard. Where's that? Here, this. Okay, that's the window. But it's not actually showing up. Okay, so is it because I haven't clicked on the thing yet? What the heck? Okay, it's not working. Fuck it. Alright. Fuck chat. You guys don't get to see chat. You want to remove it? Yes. I mean, we could do this. We could really do this scuffed. Oh, gosh. Just do this. Then put chat over here. And then do this. Yeah! Really scuffed. I mean, that works. And pull chat down here a little bit. Yeah! Alright, scuffed stream activate. Let's go. Okay, so now I can just see chat there too. So that's nice for me. Okay. Let me have a sip of my Milo. Okay, so yeah, we've got Eternal Staff and Bow here, fully gemmed with tier 3. We're doing defense pen rolls instead of crit rate rolls. I will explain that in a little bit. But yeah, we're going for an endgame build here. So we're going for big doodle crit damage because I think defense pen builds for mages are kind of shit. Okay, so yeah, we got our weapon, we got our bow. Let's do our instruments. So the thing is, if I'm gonna commit, this is one thing I've been thinking about, right? We're just gonna do a glorious flute, but we're not gonna make it like mythic or anything. We'll just make it legendary because it's pretty easy to get. The lunar stone we put in the not hostility. Where's the magic attack ones? Transcendence, magic attack, magic defense. No, we need indomitable transcendence. Yeah, magic attack defense. So we put on that lunar frost, and there's two options for us here. We can. Here's the thing that I've been struggling with, and I haven't tackled this yet because I haven't got to the point where I need to gem this shit yet. I can go attack speed, which is the best situation, the best you can want for mage. It's what you want, right? You want attack speed. Attack speed is good. But the thing is, it feels kind of counterintuitive because I'm using a staff. So if I really wanted to just stack attack speed, why the fuck am I using a staff? Should I just try and commit to cast speed and see if it's good? I'm going to go ahead and just do... I'm going to do attack speed for now and just see what kind of results we get with attack speed, like, later. So we're doing full int. We have evasion there and magic attack. This is what I already have rolled on these. So I'm maxing that out. Good, good. Okay, so we'll do the cloak first. And we'll do an Aeronor cloak. Fuck it. It'll take some time to get Aeronor cloak, but we're doing an Aeronor cloak, and we need to get a hatchet blade cloak. And we want the magic critical damage hatchet blade cloak. We're going eternal because farming these is a joke. Then we want a perfect wave Lunafrost is what goes there. I'm staffing doing cast speed. I'm thinking about... I'm going to see what kind of results we get with the cast speed, with the attack speed first. Okay, so we want the crit damage. Getting the 13% is pretty easy. Ideally, we'd get int and stamina, which shouldn't be too hard. And then we would want to get resilience. Getting the resilience on this roll is very, very, very good. It's kind of tough to get it, though, and not a lot of people do. But I was lucky enough to get it on both my characters on Legacy, so I feel like I can do it on Unchained. So we're doing that. Okay, headpiece. We're going to do... We don't want to go full dick eternal. We'll just be a little bit humble here, and we'll make our hero armor pieces mythic, because getting mythic on each of your armor pieces isn't too bad. And I'm only going to do plus 18 tempers, because plus 18 is like the easiest, highest temper to get, basically, without spending a ton of thing. And we want an intuitive, because we're arena horse. We want that stealth detection. We're going to go 7 slots of... Do we want to do tempered gems here? Sorcerer gems are going to give us 1.9, or it's 2.1 for the regulars. I feel like I only have 2 gems in there so far, so it wouldn't be... I feel like I just want to go crafted ones here, because I really want to min-max my damage. I feel like I'll pull out my tempered ones and put crafted ones in eventually, after I sort my weapons. So we do int, we have resilience, and we have a mixture of melee and range. I can't be bothered checking which each of them is right now. So we're just going to do a mix here, and it'll end up about the same. So melee reduction... Good. And our chest piece is going to be a glorious Hiram shirt. We're going to make this mythic also. We're going to also make it plus 18 temper, because that's just a nice thing to aim for. For our chest piece, we're going to put on Warriors Lunafrost, receive damage 3.0 decrease. A lot of people get a little bit confused when it comes to when it comes to the wording of that Lunafrost on their chest piece, but they fail to notice that because it's got a minus 3%. Actually, in game it doesn't actually have the minus, but it's not causing you to take 3% more damage. It's 3% less overall from every damage type. We're doing tempered gems there because we're going to mix and match like a ugly little bitch. Resilience. We'll do range damage reduction on this one. Okay, so we got, yep, nice little chunk of resilience out of that. For our sash, we're going to do a Cruel Glory sash. Whoa, oh my gosh, can I spell? A Cruel Glory sash. We're not going to do the big dog Cruel Glory sash like the tier 2. We're going to do a tier 1 because upgrading them can be a pain, and I'm not too worried about upgrading a sash. And the reason why we're going to make it Divine is because these are regraded the old school way. Divine is like the bare minimum we can aim for without having any risk of it breaking. And I don't want to risk it breaking because it costs 60k honor and a little bit of grinding to get this. Not worth wasting all that honor for a chance to have a slightly higher ranked belt. When it doesn't really give you much more stats, you're really just using this for the effect. And you can't see the effect here. It gives toughness and a telekinesis skill. It's bugged on the ArcheAge calculator. But you can see it gives int and spirit, so getting it to, let's say, fucking mythic, you're getting like 5 more base stats. It's not worth it at all. You don't get more toughness or anything. And then in this, because we're a spellsinger, we're going to be putting tier 3 crafted Frigitrax gems for that 17% reduction. So we're on the verge of instant cast Frigitrax. We're not quite there, but it's at a point where it casts fast and it's comfortable to use. For our sleeves, we're going to be going for Shadow Warrior Shadows, and this is the exact same situation as the telekinesis sash, the one we just did. This is regraded the old school way, so safely, the highest we can safely get it reliably is divine, so we're not going to push it above that. If I'm lucky when regrading, I might be able to get it epic, but let's just say divine to play it safe. And it's the same situation. There's no point risking going higher for a few base stats. In here, because we're a staff, putting in just straight up magic attack gems would be good. Ideally, I would want movements. I mean, in a perfect world, I would have escape lunar gems. Decrease the duration of impale, stun, sleep, fear, confinement, and trip effects by 4%. You're looking at 16% when you got all 4. But these are going to be extremely expensive because they only drop when you kill Thunderwing Titan, and getting them is going to be expensive as fuck. So we're looking realistically, they're going to be too expensive. Movement gems are quite good for mages because it reduces slowed and snare effects, which is 2 of your weaker points. Snares being basically a death sentence for you as a mage. Reducing the duration of those is pretty good. So in an ideal world, we'd get 4 movement gems in this piece. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this piece, it gives us a little bit of toughness, which the toughness from both of these belts is more than what a hero gives you. It's giving you about the same amount of base stats, and you get this combo effect from this piece, which has a chance to cast Shadow Song and grant you immunity to all damage when health is 20% or lower. It's actually 15% on live servers. And additional damage is received. Shadow Song lasts for 2 seconds and increases healing by 100%. And it's got a 3-minute internal cooldown. Shadow Song is basically immunity to all damage and CC for 2 seconds. And it sounds like it says has a chance to cast it when you get below 15%. It's incredibly high chance. It's very reliable proc. If you basically take damage under 15% HP, this will proc if it's not on cooldown. It's very good. It will literally 2 seconds is a long time in a fight between 2 glass cannons. Like mage v mage. Mage into archer. I probably won't save you against the melee because melees just take you from 50% to 0 in a second. You don't even get a chance to live on 15. I mean, it'll proc against melee sometimes, but it's mostly good against archers and melees. Archers and other mages. A little sip on my melee real quick. By the way, how do you make Cruel Glory Sash? You basically have to acquire all pieces of the Grimghast plate set, craft that into a seal, take 60k honor, smash it together, and you can craft it. I'm going to make a guide on how to craft that when I get to the point where I'm making it, which is pretty soon, so just keep an eye out for that. So the best class for you is spellsinger. Dual wield? Well, I'm two-hander. I'm using a staff. Dual wield overall is better for mages, but this is what we're doing today, because this is what I'm going to be playing. For our gloves, we're doing Hiram, and we're going to go Mythic plus 18, same as the rest of them. On our fists, we want a Calm Lunar Frost, which is going to give us 8% magic critical damage. We're going to do 6 slots of Tempered plus 5 evasion rate, so they're going to give us 1.4% each. Evasion is really, really good, protects us against archers and melees, and since we're in cloth, full evasion of damage and crowd control effects is very, 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 very good. There's pretty much no reason. You should 100% take evasion in this slot. It's the best stat for you as a mage. And then we're going to take range damage reduction on this piece. There we go. We're going to do our breeches, also pants now, if you're in cloth. Mythic, same situation. Like we could push these to Eternal when we actually get to this point, but we're going to be a little bit humble today. Toughness is the best Lunar Frost for this slot. We're doing plus 5 toughness gems, and you'll notice that a plus 5 toughness gem gives 345 toughness, whereas a crafted tier 3 gives 354. So it's only 10 less. It's 10 less per gem, basically. So, if you really wanted to min-max your defenses, you don't want to go with the tempered gems, but it's a very minimal difference, and I personally think it's best to diversify your gemming. So doing tempered gems is honor heavy or honor intensive, whereas doing crafted gems is gold and labor intensive. So it's good to do a combination of both. So you'll notice that while I'm going through and doing this, I'll link this build afterwards, but you'll notice that I have a solid combination of crafted gems and tempered gems. So They are, what are we talking about? How do you get the minus 17 cast time on Frigitrax? They're stun glow gems. They drop in any graded dungeon, and you can craft them up to tier 3. So at tier 1, I'm using them right now on Unchained. They give 10% minus. So yeah, crafting them to tier 3 makes them a lot better. Okay, so we're doing our shoes, and then we're going to go mythic as well with this, plus, why do I keep going 16? 18 is what we're aiming for. We'll put a toughness 335, 6 slots, and again, we're doing plus 5 tempered gems for our defensive gems, because, you know, it's not a huge difference. It's 528 resilience as opposed to 510. It's a bit more, but over the board, it's not going to give you a huge boost. And like I said, I want to diversify. So we're going to do melee on here as well. Okay, there we go. Nice. So that's a nice looking set. So we got a, you know, nice looking mythic buff. We're already looking at 23k HP, which is low, but we'll get more. Don't worry about that. So let's just have a look at let's just go over our stats right now and get a feel for where we're going to be at, so we can know how to choose our stats for our costumes and our earrings. And our jewelry, I should say. Okay, so we're already looking at 243% points, or 243.7% magic critical damage, which is really good, because if we're playing spellsinger, then you're looking at another 30% when you're stacked up with your rhythm stacks. So you're looking at, you know, a little over 270% critical damage. So we're getting close to our cap, so this is good. So we're close to the 300% cap. And like I said, any percent over 200% is a big damage increase on a crit build because of the way resilience is calculated. So if you'll see, we're at 10k resilience, so that's good. We really want to be over 10.4k, so that means on one of our pieces, underwear or costume, we really want to take a little bit of resilience. So let's do our costume first. So it doesn't matter what costume we choose. Let's just choose the Hello Kitty costume combat there. This one will do. We're going to make it Eternal, Endgame, Big Dog costume. The Lunafrost we're going to put on it is the crit one. You can do the damage reduction one, but I honestly, the damage reduction one is good, especially against other mages, but since we're rolling defense penetration on our weapons, we want the extra little bit of crit rate. So the 3.5% crit rate when we're in combat is pretty good. Let's see. Would you recommend two-hand or dual wield for Dark Runner? I got legendary one-hand, but everyone else seems to go two-hand. I always tell people that two-hand is better for melee. A few people will argue that dual wield's better, but I think they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay, so what we're going to do for our undergarments is be a little bit defensive. So the must-have rolls is going to be, not defense, I need magic defense penetration. We want magic defense penetration, because otherwise having the rolls on our weapons is useless, because if you only have like 2k defense penetration, you're not getting a whole lot of value out of it, so you need a little bit more. And the other must-have roll is crit rate, because we're dropping crit rate on our weapons, and we want to get as much crit rate from other sources as possible. So the two must-haves in your underwear, if you're doing this kind of a setup, is magic defense penetration and magic critical rate, because you want the crit rate. Now, the other option for us, we have a couple options here. So you can't actually get critical damage on costumes. This is wrong. We can get skill damage. In my opinion, not really worth it. We got our crit rate and we got our thing. It's not worth getting like a flat attack here, because you'll notice... Oh, no, wait. This is our costume. Fuck. I thought we were doing underwear. We'll do underwear first. I thought I was just doing underwear. Okay, so backtrack a sec here. What I said about my costumes, just ignore that for a moment. Underwear. We need to have our crit rate on our underwear, and we need to have this magic defense penetration. Like I said, these are the two must-have rolls, and I realize I haven't actually given this a grade, so we need to do this. Okay, so magic defense penetration and magic critical rate are the two must-have rolls on your costume as well. But if you want to do the weapon setup that we're talking about, you need to have magic defense penetration, because magic defense penetration scales exponentially, so the more you have, the better it is. Even if you're just doing a relatively small amount for a crit build as opposed to a full defense penetration build. And we need the crit rate because we're dropping it on our weapons in favor of defense penetration. So we need the crit rate to kind of level that out. So crit rate, and then costumes are really good for defensive stats. So Not really worth it in my opinion to get toughness, because the max you can get is 373 toughness. It's not a whole lot. Resilience is pretty good because you can get over 800, which is a really good solid amount of resilience. You can either get it here on your costume or both if you really want, but as long as you're above 10.4k resilience, you're sitting pretty. But we're going to put resilience here because in general, once I have my magic defense penetration and my magic crit rate on a build like this, I like to do defensive stats on the underwear because you can get really good defensive stats. Now, like I said, like I was saying before, or I was trying to say, you can get magic attack, like flat magic attack, but it's only 20 magic attack, which, especially if you're using a staff, is not much at all. So it's not worth a full roll on underwear. Now, where you get a lot of value on underwear is your damage reductions. So for me, in cloth, I am pretty vulnerable. I'm vulnerable to melees and I'm vulnerable to archers. So realistically here, I would go melee damage reduction and range damage reduction. And I can get 6.7% reduction on archery skills and melee skills here just with 2 rolls, which is really, really, really good. That's really good mitigation for me as a cloth wearer. And yeah, you can get like magic skill damage, which is nice. You know, it's almost 4%. It's not that bad. I would not get magic attack. I don't think it's worth it. This is ideally what I would go for. So I would go for magic defense penetration and crit rate. Both are must-haves. The resilience is really nice because this will push us over the soft cap. And then we're going to, we'll confirm that. So we'll check this in a sec, but our gems, we're doing attack speed for now. So we're going to put our 4 gems in our underwear with attack speed, and our lunar stone is just going to be the blue moon tears, which is the plus 15 int. We'll save that. So you can see if we look at our defensive stats right now. Actually, real quick, let me put where's my buffs? Let me put my statue buff on. So if I got my hero buff, like my statue buff, here, this is going to be 6% damage reduction on everything, which is something you should pretty much always have on. There's no reason to not have that on when you're basically doing anything. It's always should be on. So we're looking at, just with the costume, we haven't got any earrings or anything like that. We're looking at 10.7k resilience, which is over the soft cap, which is 10.4k, which is good. We're looking at 3.7.5k toughness, which is good. I wouldn't, if you have anything under 3k, you're gonna be too squishy. You need to have at least 3k, in my opinion. The closer to 4k you get, the better, in my opinion. If you can have over 4k toughness, you're in a good spot. It's a good 4k is a good amount to aim for, in my opinion. Anything below 3k and you're gonna be too squishy. So, and we're looking at almost 23% melee damage reduction and 21.1% range damage reduction. Now, the reason why this is good is because if we're looking at our physical defense here, we only have 4k, right? 4k is really, really low, and if we're getting hit by anyone who's melee, we're pretty much getting hit for 0. And the thing is, you can stack your physical defense to, even in cloth, you can get it without a shield to maybe 6 or 7k. At which point you'll have about 40% physical mitigation. But a lot of that gets shredded by defense penetration. And pretty much any melee has defense penetration, whether they're a crit build or a defense pen build. If they're a defense pen build, they're going to shred all of your armor no matter what. They can't shred this. This is basically 3k physical defense that they cannot mitigate. They cannot get rid of it. So this is a really good defensive stat, and it applies super nicely for archers as well. An archer that doesn't have any defense penetration, you're looking at over 50% damage mitigation, which is really, really good. Pog learning so much about soft caps. Yeah. Okay, so that's really, really good, and we're going to get this a lot higher, so keep an eye on this for a bit. Okay, so we're going to do our costume now, and keep this stuff in the back of your head, right? So we're going to do our costume. Now, our costume is basically one of the best sources for damage as any DPS class. So the reason why I like to go kind of defensive on my undergarments is so I can free up and do a lot of offensive stats on my costume. So as a mage, I like to do magic critical rate. Like I said, that's a must-have. And then magic defense penetration, again, must-have when you're doing a setup like this. And then we can also get magic critical damage, which in a crit build is obviously really, really good. We can get almost 12% off of the costume, which is nice. Now, you have another option for this next slot, and that would be to get resilience. You can get over 900 resilience, and that's going to push you. It's going to make you a bit more tanky to crit builds and crit damage. The only thing why this is a little bit iffy here is because once you get over about 10.4k resilience, you start getting diminishing returns on the resilience. So you're not getting as much value out of it. So 900, although that's a lot, and it's not a bad stat to have at all, you could probably get a little bit more value out of something else. So what I like to take here is receive damage reduction. Where is it? Receive damage. So this. Receive damage. It says receive damage, but it's reduction, right? So we're getting almost 4% receive damage reduction, and that applies to all three of the skills we were just talking about a moment ago, right? So almost 4% damage reduction over the board is really, really good. And you have a lot of options for your last stat here. So especially if you're dual wield, I recommend going magic attack here because you're going to get almost 50 magic attack, which is basically a free grade on your weapon, right? If you're using a Hiram, going from legendary to mythic is going to give you about 50 magic DPS. Going from mythic to eternal is going to give you about 50, depending on your tempers. And getting a magic attack roll here is basically like just having +1 grade on your weapon. It's a good amount of magic attack. So I generally tend to go for this. This magic attack or range attack or melee attack, whatever build you're doing, this is actually way more valuable on archers, and it's really good on melees as well. So in my opinion, for this last slot, you have 3 options. If you want to have offensive, if you want to have an offensive stat here, get the magic attack. If you want to have a defensive stat, HP is an option. You notice we don't have a whole lot of HP, so getting another 1.5k HP is actually not that bad. But we're going to get more HP in a minute from our jewelry, so I don't think that's completely necessary for a glass cannon build. The next best thing would be evasion. You get 3.5% at max grade evasion, which is a very good defensive stat for archers and melees, which obviously we're vulnerable to in cloth. So evasion is a good stat, but because I ain't no bitch, I'm going to go with magic attack. So we got magic crit rate, we got magic defense penetration, magic critical damage because we're a crit build, receive damage reduction because it's just such a good stat and really, really good. Magic skill damage is good, but I've never really found it to be a very pivotal skill. Very pivotal way to scale your damage, right? It's percent damage increase, but it happens early in the calculation. It basically, I mean, it's good. It's good, but I've stacked magic skill damage and melee skill damage on builds before wherever I could get them. It didn't feel like it was doing a whole lot, and I don't know the equations behind the math on how it's calculated, so I can't tell you for certain how good or bad it is. But the thing is, I know magic attack's good. I'm not sure about skill damage. So if anyone figures out skill damage and how it really affects it, I know what it does, and I know it's not bad, but I don't think you really need it because you end up with a really solid amount of skill damage without even needing it. So yeah, we're gonna ignore that for now. Magic attack is the best bet in my opinion, and like I said earlier, we're gonna get the crit rate Lunar Frost, which you can just get from the honor store for 50k honor, and we're gonna go ahead and lock that in. So we're getting crit rate, crit damage, defense pen, receive damage reduction, and some magic attacks. So we're sitting at already 1600 unbuffed magic attack, a little bit over, which is really, really good. Our critical damage is 255%. Add on your rhythm stacks as a spellsinger, and you're looking at 285%, so you're very quickly approaching the hard cap of crit damage, which is good. And we're looking at 1.5k defense penetration, which is pretty average, but it's going to get better, so keep that in mind. And, magic defense penetration, 1.3k, but it's going to get better. And then our defenses, which is what we've been pretty, getting into at the moment, is we're over the soft cap resilience. That didn't change. Our toughness didn't change, but we're sitting pretty on that already. We're looking at 26.5% melee damage reduction, which is basically approaching the amount of damage reduction we get from 4k physical defense, right? That cannot be mitigated or cannot be bypassed. 25% on range, and magic, although it's nice, we're in cloth, so magic is less of a priority, but magic damage reduction against mages is pretty fucking good. If they only got like 2k pen, then we're looking at like 67% mitigation here, and another 12% here. That's like 80% mitigation. Like, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so we're going to do this next. Now, for necklace, I like to go... There's a new necklace coming out, which is probably going to be insanely good. We're not going to... I don't know how good or bad it's going to be yet, but we have two options here. We can either go with a crafted necklace, with a wave necklace for magic defense penetration. I think it's really good for your damage, but I can't turn away from the Halsey necklace. It's too good. This necklace is way too good. It gives us way too many good stats that you just can't... Unless the new necklace that's coming out in like 6.2 or 6.3, that gives us like toughness ignore or whatever it is insane, then there's no reason to not use this, because it gives us toughness, focus does nothing for us, 112 stamina, which just straight up gave us basically 1.5k HP, and 6% received damage reduction for all damage types. So we just buffed all of these over 30%. Our magic damage reduction is almost at 20%. So we're looking at really, really good mitigations here. And that's just from one slot. A pretty insignificant slot too, if you ask me. And we can also throw on a Lunar Frost here. So we go with an Indomitable Transcendent is the one? Yep. Which gives us a little bit of magic attack and a little bit of fizz defense. So very good defensive stats for one single slot. Not only that, but it has an on-use effect that gives you a 5k EHP shield. So very, very good. How much honor is rank 4? I think to get all the way from rank 1 to rank 4 in total is like 600k honor or 700k honor, maybe a bit more. Actually, it might be more these days. I feel like it's closer to like 900, 800k, something like that. So it's pretty expensive, but it's still you still get really good value out of it at even lower grades. So if you look, if I change it here to the lower grades, let's see, where is it? So if we're looking at like, if we're looking at the, this is the legendary one. So the legendary one still gives us 6% received damage reduction. That's the main stat we're chasing. So I'm pretty sure epic and above. So this is the divine one. The divine one still gives 6% damage reduction. So you're looking at a rank 10 is giving you most of the value that you're chasing here in this necklace. So it doesn't have to be the Eternal one to be good. It's just the Eternal gives a little bit more HP, gives a little bit of toughness, which is nice. But let's look. The 9, yeah, see? You need the divine one, which is the rank 10, to get the high value out of it, which is the 6% received damage reduction, which is the main stat we're chasing. So that at this point and higher, it's a great necklace, right? So very, very good. And getting it to divine is actually not too bad. I'd say it's probably like 300k honor, give or take. You can look at it, just look at it in game. Just open your folio and open up the necklace, and you can do the math on it pretty easily, because it's just honor badges. So yeah, we're just going to save that in. And if we look here now, like I said, all of these two are each over 30%, almost 33% on our melee damage reduction, which is almost eclipsing our 4k fizz defense. And this cannot be, like I said, this can't be bypassed. It's very, very good. Rip, need to bring out the PoE build crafting now. Patch notes are out. True. That's what I'm going to be doing when I turn the stream off. I got my path of building updated, bro. I'm ready to go. But I just need, sadly, none of the new skills are in it or anything like that. And that's what I plan on playing. But you know how I said we want to get our toughness over 4k if we can? We're almost at 4k. So we're sitting in a really good spot for toughness right now. And our resilience is over the soft cap. So we're looking real good there. And our damage reductions is in a really good spot too. And they're about to get better. So we're looking for... we need a Noriat earring. So we're looking at a Radiant Noriat earring. So this is a tier 3 Radiant, or tier 3 Noriat earring. And it's at Epic. We don't need to push it higher than Epic, because although you do get cool stats when it's at Legendary, honestly, you get most of your value out of it once it's tier 3 Epic. I don't think it's extremely expensive to tier these higher to like Legendary and Mythic once they're at tier 3. Not really worth it for the stats you get unless it's the last thing you're upgrading, in my opinion. But once you get them to tier 3, they're at Epic. They're in a good spot. So we're going to leave these at Epic. And this is the stats we're going to do here. So these earrings are going to give us incredibly good incredibly good defensive stats. So we're going to get intelligence. You know, a nice little bit of intelligence, never bad. This is where we're going to get a nice chunk of HP. Notice how HP pool is pretty fucking low. We're going to get a nice bit of HP off each of these earrings here. So not only are we getting 1.8 received damage reduction again, stacking that up, we're getting 634 HP, which is really good. I'm going to do this on both earrings. So we're getting a nice little chunk of intelligence off each of them, nice little chunk of max HP, and a nice little bit of damage mitigation as well. And we're getting way more value out of this received damage reduction than we would out of, like, if we picked, like, PDEF or fucking... I mean, you could go evasion, but not worth. Not worth. Way better to just go HP and receive damage reduction. And we're going to put our Indomitable Lunar Frost on here. Transcendent? Yeah. And I'll put this on the other one too, because I forgot to put it there. Where is it? Transcendent. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got two really solid earrings right here, and we could get a little bit more synthesis stats out of each of them if we took them to like legendary or mythic or whatever. Not worth it in my opinion, unless it's the last thing you have to upgrade. Everything else is fucking maxed out. Not worth it to go past tier 3 epic in my opinion on Noriat jewelry, because it's just too expensive. And then we're looking at, ideally you would go for a flawless dream ring because it's just good stats. And unless they do actually release, I've heard rumors about a new flawless dream ring that's going to be a higher version, whatever. I'm not going to go for the dream ring, so I'm just going to put in what I'm going to be aiming for, which is the Holy Unistir ring. It's just a kind of like a Walmart version of the dream ring, but it doesn't last for 30 days. It lasts forever, and it only has 200. It's got 0.5 less skill damage and 200 less defense penetration. So it is a Walmart version, and yes, it has slightly less fucking gear score. Who cares? It's just way more, way better value, in my opinion. And we're going to put our Indomitable Transcendent on that. So Holy Unistir ring, way more worth it than the Dream Ring, in my opinion, unless they buff the Dream Ring in the future. And then we're going to do the same thing, a Radiant Noriat ring at epic. No point really going higher than that. We'll put our Indomitable on that. Here we go. And then there are a few options here. So obviously you want intelligence. You really want magic defense penetration, because like I said, the more magic defense penetration we have, the better, the more value we get out of it. But you have two options here. You can either go max HP, which is good. It's going to give us another 600 plus HP, which is really, really nice, which is probably what I would go with. Or you could go for magic skill damage and get almost 2% magic skill damage. If you're dual wield, you could even go attack speed. It's not bad. But I'm going to go with max HP because as someone who's fully stacking intelligence, having a little bit of max HP is pretty good. Gives you a little bit more of an HP buffer, which is never a bad thing, right? So yeah, is pretty much an endgame looking build right here. So we're looking at, let's see. Oh no, wait. We're missing a lot here because we got our stat migration. So we'll reduce this, and we'll reduce this, and we'll do our stat migration plus 300 into intelligence. Done and done. Okay, so now, this is fully stat migrated. Costumes done. Armor is not min-max. We could get these to Eternal and get more gems, but we're being a little bit humble here. What are you guys saying? There is an epic one in the garden update. Well, yeah, I haven't looked into that yet, so we're just going to be a bit humble and just go with this for now. So just keep in mind that there are better options for some of these slots, so upgrades in the future for this kind of build, right? Okay, so let's go over our defensive first. So we're looking at almost 4.4k physical defense. Gives us about a 35% mitigation. This basically is going to be 0 against a melee because they're going to have enough defense penetration to completely ignore that when they're puncture brocs. And an archer is probably going to ignore, at minimum, half of this. So you're looking at about 15 to 20%, about 20% mitigation against the archer, and probably 0 from a melee, which is why melees do hit you like a truck when you don't have this kind of setup over here. But we got a good amount of magic defense, and no matter how much magic defense pen a mage has, they're not going to have 19k magic defense penetration. Even on a full defense pen build, they could probably have 12k at the most. And if they have 12k, you're left with what, 6k plus? Just based off this, 4K, if we had 6K magic defense, we're still looking at almost 50% mitigation probably. Probably like 45% mitigation. So that's why defense pen builds as a mage is kind of shit. Because you're just not going to do damage. And then we're over our soft cap and our resilience. We're over the 10.4K, so we're in a good spot there. Our toughness is almost 4K, which is really, really good. I'd say the minimum's 3K. 4K, you're sitting in a really good spot. If you don't have any hero gems and you're sitting at 4K, you're in a good spot. How good are lightning necklaces for archers? Yeah, they're good. They're good for your DPS, but I just think the Halcyon neck gives too much value. And there's going to be a better offensive necklace coming out. We're not going to talk about that right now. We have almost 34% evasion, which is pretty low. Why is that? That feels like that's low. I feel like I could have more than that. Why do I have less? Do I not have intelligence roll on one of these? What does this got? Intelligence? I feel like my evasion's low. I feel like 34% evasion is low. Why does it feel like I'm missing evasion? It doesn't matter. 34% is still a good amount of evasion. But I feel like with this build, I should probably be at like 40%. But anyway, that's fine. We're looking at 36% melee damage reduction. Unavoidable melee damage reduction. 36%. More than what our 4K Fizz defense is giving us. And this cannot be bypassed by defense pen or anything. We're looking at about 35% for our range damage reduction. And almost 23% for our magic damage reduction, which is nice. We got a lot of magic damage reduction, so we're going to be quite tanky to other mages. How bad is Archer compared to Mage? Archer endgame is honestly probably better than Mage in most scenarios. It really depends on who's piloting it, but yeah, Mage, like Archer, fares well. So yeah, our defenses are in a really, really fucking good spot, honestly. Considering we're a staff build in cloth and we have literally no fucking stamina because we're just full big wiener damage, and we only got less than 27k HP. Our defenses are above average, I'd say. You're still gonna take a lot of damage from a really high DPS melee or a really high DPS archer, but you're also going to deal a fuckload of damage, so you can probably kill them faster than they can kill you. Hey, you use ExitLag, mate? Yes, I am currently trying out ExitLag. So yeah, we're going to talk about our damages now, because looking at this at first glance, this is a tough spot, because despite the fact that we rolled crit rate everywhere except for our weapons and we're max int, we're really low on the crit rate. Why are we so low on crit rate? We got magic crit rate there. I feel like with this build, with the amount of int we have and the amount, I feel like we should be at about 85%. Why are we at 77%? So looking at this concerns me a little bit, and this is why you calculate your build before you do it, right? So to have consistent damage with a crit build, in my opinion, you need to have about 85% or higher crit rate. And we're sitting at just under 77% right now, so that's going to feel super inconsistent. So I think, oh yeah, from passives, of course. So, yeah, that's why we're sitting low. Thank you. I completely overlooked that. So we're missing crit from this. So let's just put our build in. Oh, no, don't pick that. This. And then we go... Oh, it's a bit laggy. Stop lagging, please. We go bang, 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 bang. Bang, and we should have 1 point. Yep. Okay, so yeah, we should have our crit rate from here now, and skill damage. Yep. And yeah, okay, so this is much better. This will actually like this makes sense. And evasion from shadow play. Well, my current build, I don't actually take advantage of the evasion, but if I'm in 1v1s, I have this. And yeah, you're right. That's where I was missing the evasion from before. So yeah, this is like a 1v1 build. Actually, you know what? Like, ExitLag, fuck off. What am I missing? Yeah, so this is like a 1v1 build, right? So yeah, I would have the evasion from this, and yeah. Okay, so this is going to look much more accurate to what okay, so yeah, we're sitting at almost 83%, which is that's more consistent. This, I feel like I'm missing crit somewhere else. Where am I missing crit? I should be at 80 5%. I should be a little bit... I'm missing crit somewhere. Am I missing int somewhere? Do I have int rolled on all these properly? I didn't select anything else. Int. Everything here is int. Int rolled there. Int. Okay, I have int. Oh, I know what it is. It's the title. How do I choose my title? Is it here? Yeah, so we need... This is the title that you'll eventually have, which is your what's it called? It's called Immortal. Whoops. 1M. 2M's. Immortal? Yeah, so that gives us 3%. Okay. Okay, now it looks right. So we got a little bit more resilience, which I completely overlooked. So we're over 11k resilience if we have this title. And we have a bit more int and actual flat crit rate. So yeah, our crit rate's going to be sitting over where I feel like it's consistent. So 86.5%, that's good. It's a good amount of crit rate, and this is what I was looking for. This is what I felt like I should have had. Okay, so we're in a good spot now. So we're looking at 86.5% magic critical rate, and like I said, the bare minimum for having consistent crits on any build, in my opinion, is 85%. Anything under 85%, and you're starting to feel super inconsistent. Ideally, you would have over 90%, but you can get away with 86%. Your crits should be fine. And if you're playing spellsinger, you have zeal pretty much consistently at the start of any fight anyway, so you're going to have 100% crit rate when zeal's up. So 85% or above is a good spot to have it consistent. And we're sacrificing a little bit of crit rate. Like, we could have 95% flat crit rate at all times, but then we'd lose a bunch of magic defense penetration. And, you know, although magic defense penetration 2k is not a whole lot. Alright, I'll come in and see you in a minute. Although almost 3k is a minimal amount of magic defense penetration, it adds it has value against leather wearers and plate wearers especially. So yeah, it's a good amount of defense penetration. You could make an argument for dropping the defense penetration rolls in favor of other stats. So you could drop the defense pen on your costume and go magic crits, magic skill damage. You could drop the defense pen on your costume and go skill damage. You could drop the defense pen on both your weapons. I'm hiccuping. And you could go with crit rate and have a bit more consistent crit rate, and then drop the defense pen on your ring and go skill damage. I can perfectly see an argument for that. But we're going to stick with this. So we're looking at a decent amount of defense penetration, not bad. A consistent enough crit rate, and 255.5% magic critical damage base. And if we're looking, if we have our rhythm stacks up, can I actually display that here? Will it let me show rhythm stacks? Here we go. Rhythm, is it actually right? No, it's old. Okay, so that's not going to show us. But essentially, a fully stacked rhythm is going to give us 30%. So 285.5% magic critical damage, which is really, really good for a two-hander build. Like, it's insane for a two-hander build, honestly, to have that much critical damage, and you'll deal a ton of damage. And not only that, if we're playing a build with Malediction, say we were playing, if we switch our Shadow play for Malediction, and we were playing as a Spectre, which is really good for open world, like large-scale PvP, we would be able to have access to our last last passive in Malediction, which is 12% magic critical damage. And that's going to basically put us, when we're stacked up with our rhythm, at the cap of crit damage with a two-hander weapon, which is really, really, really fucking overpowered. How's the ExitLag experience where you live in Australia? It's good, honestly. I've been liking it. I've only used it like a little bit, like the last week, and I haven't played a whole lot. But in my experience so far, it's been really consistent, and I'm liking it, honestly. They've been like... ExitLag has been trying to get me to try it for a while now. I finally... no ping was pissing me off at one point, so I finally caved, and I'm giving them a try. But yeah, I'm in Queensland. What latency are you getting? I get about 170 to San Jose, or San Jose, I don't know how you say it. But my actual connection to the server is about 210 ms, something about that, give or take, depending on the time of day. What the fuck, Kun getting 160 ms from Korea? Well, it's about the same distance. Have you looked at a world map? It's about the same distance. But anyway, we'll finish this up. San Jose, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, this is a solid. This is really solid. So there are a few things you could change, like chop and change to do a few different things. Like I said, you don't have to do the defense penetration. You could trade that out for a different damage stat, or if you're concerned about 2.3k not being a whole lot. Jose, there you go. Yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, this is a good build. This is what I'm going to aim for with the Shadow Warrior's Shadows, Cruel Glory Sash. Really good offensive stats for a staff. Our attack speed is obviously low as shit. 176 is like basically what dual wield gives you, and that's with full gems, and the 40 attack speed passive in Shadow Play. Actually, no, that's without it because I switched it. So if we do Malediction, Shadow Play, we're looking at. I put 2 points in there, so we're looking at 216 base attack speed, another 120 if we have Ruthless Assault, if we're spec'd into that. So pretty low attack speed, which makes attack speed stacking honestly not that good. If you're going to do an attack speed build, I would not recommend a staff, this is why I tell everyone dual wield is better as a mage. It is straight up better. But staff is doable, and staff is still going to be strong as shit. And I want to do staff because it's going to be different. But yeah, this is something of what my endgame build would kind of look like. I'm still tossing up between going attack speed and going cast time. I'm not sure what I want to go with yet. I haven't really decided. But I think, I don't know. I don't know how much value I'm going to be getting out of attack speed gems. So I'm thinking cast time might be more worth it, and if I was to do cast speed, it might make running things like arc lightning in actual like all the time, not just in open world, actually something that's viable. Like if I can get arc lightning down to a relevant cast time where I'm not standing still for a long time to cast it, then it might actually be pretty good. And if I'm animation canceling with God's Whip and chunk fireballs, then being able to actually cast them pretty fast, like 70% cast time is pretty good, right? So I don't know. I feel like an argument can be made if I'm going to be a staff user, cast time is probably something that is probably worth doing. But here's the thing: end game, my plan was to have a staff and a dual wield setup, and if I'm going to have a dual wield setup as well, the cast time gems is going to be doing nothing for the dual wield setup, because if I'm playing with the dual wield weapons, I'm not using a single casted skill. So it's a complete waste of stats if I was to do dual wield. But it would give me a lot of value for my staff. So I really have to decide what's going to be more valuable for me there. But I think this will be fine. I honestly think this will be good. I think I might do cast time just to do something a bit different. Because every mage under the sun, including the ones that are listening to me, you guys, copy me at your own peril. This is by no means the strongest build out there. Dual wield mage is still better with attack speed stacking. Yeah, every mage under the sun is going to be dual wield stacking attack speed. So I feel like seeing a mage with a staff and cast time stacking might actually be a refreshing way to play. The answer is no answer. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Cast time, attack speed on flute? The answer is no answer. Yeah, because I'm not sure what's going to be better. If I was dual wield, it would be attack speed hands down. But as a staff, you can make an argument for either. But like I said, I'm not sure how valuable the attack speed is going to be. If it feels kind of redundant. If I want to do attack speed, then I should just have dual wield weapons. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. We'll see. The thing is, if I do a cast time build like this, I'm pretty much stuck playing spellsinger because I'm kind of gimping myself as far as malediction goes. Because malediction is just too good with attack speed, and cast time does nothing for malediction, right? Like literally nothing. There's not a single casted skill in malediction, and attack speed is just too valuable for that skill tree. So I'm gimping myself for fanatic, I'm gimping myself a Bane Song and things like, well, not necessarily Spectre and Spiritualist, because you play those with sorcery as well. So you can play a sorcery heavy version of those. But you're like with this kind of setup with cast time and a staff, you're crushing waves, which is the best, arguably the best skill in Malediction, is gonna be shit and slow. So yeah. Let's see. How good is the magic attack gems in your sleeves for dual wield builds? Wait, how good is the magic attack gems in your sleeves for dual wield builds? It's good. It's like obviously flat magic attack holds more value if you're a dual wield setup because you have less overall like flat DPS, right? So yeah, there is more value out of those. It's the same deal for like your costume. The magic attack here is more valuable in a dual wield setup. So yeah, you can go with magic attack in your sleeves. For sure. Especially if movement gems or escape gems is not something that's going to be available to you because they are going to be like very sought after gems and they're going to be expensive as shit. So more often than not, most people will probably go for magic attack here. How much gold do you get when you run in GH? Are you solo? Like I don't know, a few runs, like 50 gold. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't actually look at how much gold I make. I just vendor everything and sell everything on the auction house. Normally howling, you get like 20-25 gold a run. Yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, this is like ideally probably what my mage build is going to end up looking like. And obviously, all my armor could go to Eternal, which means more gems, more defenses, more crit rate. Tier 5 Hirum's coming out. The new Dream Ring might be good, so I'll probably switch over to that. The new Necklace with the good offensive stats might be something worth running, so I probably will drop that for more DPS. We're not sure. At what point is taking a break from pushing gear up and working on costume and underwear? I'm not sure. I don't know. The thing is, working on your costume kind of takes different resources than working on the rest of your gear. Because if you're solo running dungeons, you're getting Synthium shards, which is what you need to feed your costumes. And if you've already bought your cloak with your prestige, then all of your prestige that you've been saving up is going into Missigon's crystals, which is used to upgrade your costumes as well. And it doesn't cost much gold. It's really just, it costs a little bit because you're going to use Onyx Arceum to upgrade some of it. But if you're solo farming dungeons, you're getting Synthium shards saved up for when you do your costumes and undergarments, and then it's just a matter of when you have the Gilder Stars to purchase the designs from the Gilder Merchant, and then be able to get the extra couple mats to actually craft them, and then tier them up. But yeah, the Synthium is something that you're probably farming already if you're solo farming dungeons or anything, or just doing dungeons. The Missigon's Crystals is from the Prestige store, so that's your guild store. That's probably you're probably not spending prestige on really anything other than your cloak, which most people should already have by now. And then your prestige is either just getting spent on flares if you're out of content, or Missigon's crystals is what you should be saving it for. You should just be buying Missigon's crystals and saving them up because you'll need a fuckload of them, like a literal fuckload of them. So yeah, when you get at the point where you can do that comfortably, that's good. So let's see. So yeah, this is a build. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna put this on chat for you guys. And I'm just gonna put this aside because I'll link this. If I upload this, I'll link this in the YouTube description of the video. But yeah, pretty solid build for a staff. This is obviously spellsinger. Spellsinger intended. I don't think a malediction mage would go very well with this build. You're way better off doing dual wield. Like, literally, if you're playing fucking Malediction with a staff, you're doing something wrong. Malediction, anything, is just way better with dual wield. Like, a million times better. What about dual wield? Literally, take this build and just switch this for, where is it? Radiant, no, we want, Brilliant, Glorious. Here we go. Glorious, where is it? Where's the fucking... What did I see? Where's Scepter? Where the heck in Bamboozle is the Scepter? Am I blind? Here it is. Is it going to let me put the offhand in, or is it going to bug? Okay, so we're going to do Glorious Katana. It doesn't matter what offhand you do. And just for shits and giggles, let's fucking make this Eternal. Doesn't need to be tempered, but we're going to do it anyway, because why the fuck not? You put the same things on it, except the 2.0s. We're going to full gem it with tier 3 fucking Destrucciones. So spell crits, and we're going to do intelligence, defense penetration, and then critical damp. No, that's melee. How long has this guy been playing melee? Just goes for the melee. I'm going to max those out. Oh, that's the one we just did. And then same thing, literally the exact same for this. So we put the same Lunafrost, the Prophet. We're going to put a whole bunch of fucking Destruction gems. And we're going to go int and defense penetration. What? I hope it didn't do flat defense penetration on the other one. Max these out. Did I do defense penetration? I did. Fuck. I meant to do magic defense penetration. Too used to melee this guy, huh? Magic critical damage and then magic defense penetration. And we'll put that in. Save that. And there, you're done. And obviously you would want, if you're dual wield build, you have attack speed here. You do not have cast time here. So we'll switch all of these and I'll save this link too for you guys. So attack speed, attack speed, attack speed, attack speed, save. Attack speed. Oh, I could do this. There's a lot easier way to do this, but I'm just doing them one by one because, I mean, brain damage. Okay, I'll save this. Actually, real quick, I'm going to put this link that you guys had in here, and I'm just going to open it here. This is the first link, should be with the staff. And the cast time gems, yep. And then I'm going to save this one and put this in chat as well. And there. This is pretty much your dual wield setup. So the only difference with this is you're already at 294% magic critical damage. So rhythm isn't doing a whole lot for you in terms of critical damage. So 30% rhythm is not, it's only giving you, even at max stacks, it's only giving you like what, 5% fucking crit damage. So this is obviously more suited to a malediction mage, but even then, a malediction mage, you're going to be using, so let's say you're playing Fanatic with this build, right? So we'll get rid of our Songcraft and we'll throw in malediction, because if you're doing an attack speed build, you're probably playing Fanatic, right? So you're looking at this skill, like this. I like to use this teleport, Swordfall, and then we put one more probably into Ghastly Pack or something like that. You could, the builds each their own, right? But then you're looking at this last passive here, which is going to give you 12%. That means you're going to be well over the cap, which means you're wasting stats. So if you get to this point, you switch this gem here. So you switch this magic critical damage gem to the crit rate gem, and that is called, I have no fucking idea. Where is it? I feel like it's a blue rarity one. Where is it? Flawless Blade? Yeah, that's critical rate. Arrow Flash. There we go. So we go with the crit rate one here instead. So that drops us below 300%, and we're sitting pretty, right? You're sitting basically on the cap. You get a little bit extra crit rate, so, you're sitting at 90% crit rate with defense penetration, and because you're dual wield, you have almost 4k magic defense penetration as opposed to a little bit over 2k. This is why I say that dual wield's better, right? Is the undergarment temporary, like the costume? Yes, but you don't have to make a new one every month. It's just you have to wash them with it. It's like an item you buy from the vendor called Cynthium Soap. It's like 120 gold, and you do that once every 30 days. It's not bad. So yeah, you're sitting pretty much on the crit damage cap. Your crit rate's higher with the dual wield setup. Your magic defense penetration is almost double. You're missing about 200 flat magic attack, and you'll have a little bit less skill damage. So you got about 4% less skill damage. But yeah, it's better. It's better. Wash your undies once a month. Damn. Yeah. No shit. Right. So yeah, this is ideally what you would do with a dual wield setup. Like I said, don't have the crit rate on your gloves until you're over 300% and you're wasting stats on crit damage. Then you can switch it to the crit rate. And yeah, this is a good setup. I mean, this is like end game crap, man. Like, this is 3 fucking eternal weapons. Good luck grinding it. It's doable, easily doable, but it's going to take some time to get this kind of a setup, right? But yeah, there's a lot more room for improvement. All of your pieces can go eternal. You can upgrade each of these earrings. You could have a flawless dream ring here. You could make this eternal as well. Get an extra 2 attack speed gem slots. bit more intelligence, bit more magic attack. There's shit that you can do, right? And this is looking at 15k gear score, so this is pretty like end game. This is end game crap right here. Just won against a 9k gear score melee and mages. I switched to Reaper. What the fuck? I'm not sure about the second part of that, but good job about versing the 9k gear score melee. Guy must have sucked. What a loser. Good job. Put him in the dirt. If you don't wash them, the stats disappear, or just disable them until you wash them. It becomes expired once the timer runs out, and the stats from the costume or the undergarments just don't apply to your character until you wash it again. I'm 6k gear score. Dang, that's a good job. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye YouTube. Say bye to YouTube, everyone. And I'm gonna stop recording this here. That was an hour-long recording. What the fuck? Okay. Anyway, bye YouTube. Hope you enjoyed the video, and back to the stream.